Hey guys, awesome weather out here today. So I thought this would be a really good time to tell you my full story. Now it's a little long, so just bear with me. Ever since I was little, my parents have done work for other people, and they never had much of another choice, or at least they didn't think they did, and they never found one. So when I was little, well even now, but when I was little they had a cleaning service, and my mother was a private maid for the quite wealthy of the people that live in the city, and she would do all kinds of work for them, and my dad would help her. And I grew up around those people and seeing my parents do that kind of work, and it was hard, it was annoying at times, and when I was old enough I did that work too. And so I grew up doing things like being a private maid. I mean, I would do their laundry, I would literally clean their house from top to bottom, I would scrub their basement floors on my hands and knees with a sponge, and in a lot of cases I was paid by the hour, so I could do loads of work in 2 hours and only make 50 bucks. So I definitely didn't like that, and I would just do anything they told me to do. You know, they said jump and I would say how high. And before that though, this is around the same time they started doing this, I grew up doing a lot of farm work. My neighbors have a farm and I go and help them. I still help them even now. And one of my parents' clients, they owned a small, I call it a ranch really, I don't think it's really a farm, but they call it a farm. So they have horses, cows, pigs, chickens, dogs, you know, and I'd help them out a lot, and I grew up going over there every week, sometimes more than that, and I grew up around them since I was 6 years old. I grew up doing that with them. So I really know a lot about that, and I was a stable hand at the places I used to ride, and so I've done a lot of labor tasks. So I started doing that, and when I got into college I started thinking, okay, I don't know that I want to do something like that. You know, I never wanted to be a farmhand, that wasn't it. But I didn't really know where I fit in, which is common. And I thought, you know, I'll go through and see what happens. So my first actual business life really kicked off when I started doing that, because I actually had a job. Well, it was multiple jobs really, where I was a business assistant for some people that worked on campus. So that was really fun. I really loved doing that, and it's really weird because when I tell people I had fun doing business work and paperwork and staying late and just all this stuff that most people dread, I liked it. And for about 3 years, you know, people called me the office lady because I did so much work, and that should have been a cue as to what I should have done, but it just wasn't. I didn't follow that instinct and what I like to do. So I went on, and eventually I picked a career, but lo and behold, when I was about to start moving in that direction, I came down with something that I thought was a virus. You know, something was just going around, and you know that stuff happens, but I didn't get over it like everyone else did, and I thought it was just a virus, so I let it go, and I let it go, and I let it go, and 4 or 5 months later I was still super sick. And I usually don't tell people what it was because they always think it's something like an eating disorder, but every time I would eat or drink anything, my stomach would feel like it was being ripped out and I would throw up. And it was awful, and that went on for a really long time, and I just sort of waited, and eventually I went to the doctor, and they're like, okay, well, there's nothing wrong with you, all your blood work is fine. So I'm thinking, I don't know. So I waited again, and eventually I went so long without eating or drinking that I had organ failure. And so I'm sitting in the hospital, and I'm like, you know, what's happening now? What am I going to do? And I was like that for about a year. I literally starved for almost a whole year, and I have pictures if you want proof. So I went on with that like that for a whole year, and it was absolutely miserable. So I dropped out of college. I stopped working completely because I couldn't handle it. And when I got out of when I got a little better, well, I didn't actually get better. What happened is I had surgery and that wasn't effective. So my surgeon gave me a pill called Reglan. And what Reglan does is it's supposed to help with problems like that. So I took Reglan and it worked. And I was super happy about it, but they didn't tell me the side effects of that pill. And honestly, I didn't want to tell you guys this, but it's part of the story and I'm a little bit ashamed of it, and I don't know why. But anyway, so I took Reglan for a while and I started to notice I didn't feel right. I didn't feel like me. Something was wrong. And I kept saying to people, something is wrong. I don't understand what's going on. I didn't know. So one night I was thinking, you know, something is really wrong. And I just pushed it out of my mind, and that night I woke up and I couldn't tell whether it was my chest or my stomach. I couldn't tell, but it hurt so bad. I mean, it was throbbing. I couldn't even roll onto my back hardly. It hurt so bad. It was absolutely detrimental. And I finally did get up onto my back, and my heart was really, it was beating so fast that it just felt like a constant flutter. And it was just flopping around and thugging, and it was really scary. And I opened my eyes and I looked around the room, and everything was double and blurry, and I couldn't see anything, and everything was spinning, and I was sweating, and it was absolutely insane. And I was in a lot of pain, and I called my mom, and she luckily was there for me. She looked down at me, and she picked me up onto her lap. And she asked me what's wrong. And I could hardly even get the words out, but I told her simply, I think I'm dying. And I really did, because I felt like I was just going in and out, and she couldn't get a pulse count either. So we called my surgeon. Well, she had to. I was useless at that point. And he said, "Oh, yeah, it does that. I forgot to tell you." He didn't tell me that. So after I got over that horrible trauma, I went to let my primary physician check me out, and they found markers in my blood that indicate brain damage. And while I don't have brain damage like other people do, I'm completely fine compared to some people. It did cause issues. I do have some issues from that, and while I am definitely getting better, I still have issues. And after I was, well enough to start getting over what had happened, I started looking around for a job because I needed money and I didn't have money. So I was looking for a job and I couldn't find anything that I could do. So I started looking online and I didn't find anything. I certainly didn't find anything that was real. And by accident, actually, I landed onto this page. I was actually looking at a different site, and for some reason the site stopped loading. So I backed out of it, and when I tried to get back in, I ended up going to a different page entirely. And that page actually happened to be one of the pages for Moab, and I'm really glad that I landed on that one. So I ran that through my mind for a few days before I decided I would join them, and that was by far one of the best decisions I've ever made. I'm not quite where I need to be yet, but I'm definitely working at it, and so far I've absolutely loved my experience with them. I definitely do love all the people that I've met so far. They've been absolutely phenomenal with helping me and supporting me, and it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. I love doing it, and like I said, I'm not exactly where I need to be yet, but I'm definitely moving in that direction. So, down to the last part of this video, guys. It would really mean a lot to me if you guys would leave comments. Definitely let me know what you think of this video. But if you would like to work with me and let me help you out and you can join my team, that would be absolutely great. And you know, you can learn more about this. If you want to, just message me on Facebook, and if you want to work with me, send me a friend request and I will add you and we can talk on Facebook and Skype, and I'll see what I can do for you. Speak soon, guys.